When you are deep inside a problem, the problem is all there is. Sometimes the only way to see it clearly is to physically step away from it, though. Thank you for listening to Routine is Revenue. This is your place to build routines and rank results. I'm Ildikó Sealey, a routine and performance strategist. I focus on helping business owners reconnect to the bigger picture when the detail is threatening to swallow them whole. Now, this episode is for you if you have found yourself so deep in the day to day that you have lost sight of why you are doing any of it. And if you are ready to restore perspective as a daily practice, rather than waiting for a crisis to force it, I'll just get on with it. Now, today in this routine reset, we are going to look at perspective and meaning. But if you've not already done so, please hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss the next one. So, perspective and meaning. They sit within what I call the spiritual health pillar, because really it's about direction and meaning. It keeps you connected to why your work matters, and it reduces the weight of individual setbacks, and it allows you to lead from a place of clarity rather than anxiety. How does that sound? Now, there's a particular kind of spiral that most business owners know way too well. So here's the scenario. You're working on something, and it's not going the way you planned. What do? I bet you're going to go deeper into it. You're going to try harder, you're going to pull in more information, and you're going to carry out more analysis. Now, all that requires more effort. But the more effort you put in, let me guess, the more stuck you will feel. Then what happens is that the problem gets bigger the longer you stare at it. Would you agree? So you now feel you have a competence issue, while all it is that you may have lost perspective. And that is because when we are inside a problem, we do lose the ability to see around it. The details crowd out the view. And without the view, we cannot find a solution that was probably there all along. And the same thing happens at the larger scale with meaning. When you are buried in the operational demands of running a business, it's easy to lose sight of why you started what you're building and whether the daily effort is connected to anything that actually still matters to you. So you see, perspective and meaning sit within spiritual health because really, this is the health pillar that's about direction and meaning. These are not abstract extras in your life. They are what keep you orientated exactly when the details threaten to disorientate you. As we previously discussed with values alignment in Routine Reset 6, when your actions drift from the deeper purpose, the work becomes heavy in a way that productivity alone cannot fix. Well, you see, here's the thing. Restoring perspective rarely requires grand gestures. It usually requires movement and space. You see, for me, a walk is the most reliable reset available because it's not a structured exercise session. A walk out of the office, away from the screen, no particular destination, and ideally, no digital distractions. The physical act of moving changes the cognitive state. Something that feels immovable at the desk can easily start to shift within minutes of being outside. Now, journaling works alongside this. The question I came back to regularly is, what is this actually in service of? This being the problem at hand. When the answer to that question is clear, the details arrange themselves in working order. But when it is unclear, it is usually a signal to zoom out rather than to go even deeper. And the other practice worth naming is deliberate reflection on progress. Now, business owners are often so focused on what is not yet done that they lose sight of what's already done. You know, regularly noting what has moved, even small things, restores a sense of forward moment that the problem-focused mind tends to erase. Now, I clearly recall a moment when I could not see the wood for the trees. You will know the feeling. I cannot remember exactly what the problem was at all, which tells you something that what felt enormous at the time has faded entirely by now. But what I remember is the state I was in, the increasing anxiety of it, the frustration of going around and around and not landing anywhere useful. You know that frustration, being way, 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 way down a rabbit hole and getting more agitated by the minute. So I stopped. I was very frustrated. So I left the office, went for a walk around the block. But I can tell you that I barely made it 50 yards before the answer arrived. And it wasn't even something new. It was something I already had. It had been so deep in the problem that I could not see the solution was there right in front of me. And the thing is, it wasn't the walk that gave me the answer. The walk just gave me the distance to see what was already there. And that is what perspective does. It doesn't solve your problems. It just shows you that some of them were never as large as they felt from the inside. But what happens if you stay in the detail without zooming out? The problems, they stay the same size. The work stays just as heavy as it was. But gradually, the sense of meaning that brought you into business quietly erodes under the weight of the day-to-day issues. And the sad result is that you can be technically successful, but increasingly feel completely disconnected from the purpose of it all. And that disconnection is not just uncomfortable, it's unsustainable. Because without meaning, even wins feel hollow. So the greatest lesson is that perspective is not a luxury for the philosophical. It's a practical tool for staying effective and directed over the long term. So tell me, when do you build perspective back into your routine? Would it be before the rabbit holes become your default working mode? Or maybe before the meaning drains out so gradually you stop noticing that it's gone? Think about it. A walk, a question, a moment outside the detail. That is where it starts. So has something just come into focus for you? Yes? Then your next step is very simple. Just visit routinerevolution.co.uk where you can find out more and book a discovery call to explore what's come into focus and how to expand on that. For now, please zoom out regularly. The view of the picture when you are no longer in the frame is always clearer. And remember, a healthier you makes a wealthier you.